Hey guys, welcome to Zook. Today we're gonna make pinwheel kachoris. This is my way of making my favorite main course item, which is matar ki kachori, or as we call it in Bengali, motorshooty kachori. But I have given it an appetizer kind of a look. I always feel, to put the filling in and then making round kachoris out of it is quite troublesome for me. So this is an easy option out of it, and so I hope you enjoy the recipe and you try it at home. So for the ingredients, this is the first part, which is the filling. For the ingredients, we have matar or green peas, as you can see, some potatoes. Okay, ideally you should be making it only with matar, but I like the flavor profile of potatoes in it as well, and it kind of adds a little bit of volume as well. So you can try out different combinations, but this is one of it which I love. So that would be 1 cup of green peas and 1 cup of peeled cut potatoes. Along with it, we also need 1 teaspoon of black mustard seeds, or as we call it, rye, 1 teaspoon of fennel seeds or sauf, 1 teaspoon of paprika powder or red chili powder or Kashmiri mirch powder, whichever you have, and to your taste, salt and dry mango powder or amchur powder. And one of the final ingredients would be hing or asafoetida. Asafoetida and green peas make an amazing combination, and as you can see, there are very less spices in it, but still it's gonna give a lot of flavor. So let's start the cooking. So here I have around 2 tablespoons of oil, which is heating up. So on the hot oil, I let my mustard seeds flutter. Now I'm gonna add the fennel seeds. Now I'm gonna add the asafoetida. I can't really give any measurement for hing because you have to add it according to your taste, but it should be around 1/4 teaspoon because it's a very important flavor profile in this recipe. Now I can smell the hing and the fennel, so I'm gonna add my matar. Now I'm gonna add my potatoes as well. So I let the peas and potatoes fry off in the aromatic oil for some time. Now I'm gonna add some water, just enough to cover it. This is the starchy water that my potatoes were sitting in. I'm not a big fan of using boiled potatoes for this recipe or any other recipe, for the simple reason that I feel a lot of taste goes off with the starch which gets dissolved in the water. So I like to keep it like that. The water is going to be soaked up in the same thing, so we'll get all the flavor that is there. So I'm going to just cover it on a high flame and let it be for a couple of minutes. There, as you can see, all the water is being soaked up. Let me check for the doneness. Now I'm gonna add the rest of the spice, which is also pretty standard. Some dry red chili powder, some salt. Go a little heavy on the salt because this is gonna be a filling. So now for the last couple of minutes, I'm gonna keep it on the flame, and I'm gonna add some amchur powder or dry mango powder. That's also upon your taste. I have approximately 1.5 teaspoons. This is for a little bit of a tang, which we love in our Indian recipes. So now my filling is ready. I'm gonna let it cool off. So here is our kachori filling. As you can see, I have roughly mashed it with my hands after it's been cooled down. For the dough, these are the ingredients that you need. So there is 1 cup of whole wheat flour or atta. There is ghee or clarified butter, almost 2 teaspoons. There's a little bit of salt and pepper to flavor the dough. So we will make a very softish, not tacky but softish dough out of this whole thing. So I'm going to mix the spices first, the dry ingredient. Then I'm going to make a little hole in the middle. And pour in the water. So I have mixed in water. I approximately added a little more than half cup of water to make a dough like this. It's very sticky, as you can see. Now in the final step, I'm going to add some ghee into it and I'm going to knead it. So one tip that I have learned while experimenting with all sorts of dough is to add the ghee or oil in the end. This way it's much easier to knead the dough as per your liking. So this is how you knead your dough. Just take a corner and push it in. Take the other corner, push it in. And this way you will end up with a springy dough. This is well kneaded. It should quickly rise up. The moment you pinch it, it should rise up. This is how you will know that the kneading is done. It's still a little soft, it's still a little tacky, but as you can see, it's not sticking. I haven't washed my hands since the time I started kneading the dough, and you can see everything is clear. So now I'm going to just form it into a rough disc. Now I'm going to let it rest covered for 15-20 minutes for the gluten to start forming. So I've made a rectangle out of the dough, and as you can see, I have tried to keep it as uniform as possible and a little thick, okay, not as thin as a roti. Now I'm gonna spread my filling. So now I have already put the filling on my square piece of dough as evenly as I could get. You don't have to be really geometric about it, but yeah, try to be as even as you can. Now from the side which is closest to you, start rolling and make a really tight roll. When you reach the end, just take a little bit of water in your hand and just lightly brush it on so that it can stick. Just stick. Pour it off a few times so that everything is nice and even. You have a wonderful log of kachoris ready to be cut. Now we're gonna cut these pinwheels. Now our pinwheels are ready. So from the log, I've just cut them into equal portions and flattened them off so that I can see the layers. Now if you want to fry them like a traditional kachori, you can do so. You can just make a mixture of 1 teaspoon of maida or all-purpose flour with a little bit extra of water. Mix it like a liquid and just like an egg consistency, and just drop it in and put it in the hot oil. But today I'm not gonna fry, and instead I'm gonna bake. So I'm gonna do a little bit of an egg wash just to crispen it up. If you want to keep it 100% vegetarian, you can easily delete this step. This is an optional step, but I highly recommend this step. So I'm gonna just lightly brush them, especially on the sides, so that they crisp up nicely. So here are our pinwheels which have been baked. I baked it on 200 degrees centigrade for around 45 minutes. At 40 minutes mark, I went and I kind of flipped it over so that the other side also gets browned.